I've focused a lot on the Microsoft side of things versus Sony, but I've been collecting a lot of stories about Activision lately, and I wanted to discuss what has been going on with Activision and NetEase, some of the suits that Activision is settling up ahead of the merger, and just their overall public appearance with their former partners like NetEase, and how everybody's reacting to it. Let's dive into this story right now. So I'm going to go all the way back to November. So if you didn't know, back in November, Blizzard said it would end its 14-year partnership with NetEase. Then on January 18th, NetEase rejected a renewal of their contract with Activision. That's via Reuters. NetEase said the proposal was commercially illogical, and accused the U.S. firm of seeking a divorce but still remaining attached in a rare public display of acrimony between the two gaming giants. On January 23rd, I typed it wrong, but anyway, Blizzard games like World of Warcraft shut down. The reaction to this has been quite strong, with NetEase going as far as completely dismantling an axe that they had in Hangzhou. It was broadcast live on the Naraka Blade Point channel as they dismantled this memorabilia from World of Warcraft. It's been very clear that they were not happy about how this all played out. Simon Zhu, President Global Investments and Partnerships of NetEase Games, actually posted on LinkedIn saying, "One day when what has happened behind the scenes can be told, developers and gamers will have a whole new level of understanding of how much damage a jerk can make." And he didn't post this anywhere. He actually posted this on his LinkedIn. So it's still up there right now. And he talks about the jerk story. And I covered that a while back, but I also wanted to focus for a second on the effect of this closure on the community. So there's this YouTuber, Asmongold. I watch his clips channel a lot. They pop up on my feed. And here's one of the things that's posted on his subreddit. Basically, it says Blizzard bans Chinese players from participating in Hearthstone events. Chinese players comments. They're very upset, obviously. "We always put our players first. First placed in the block list. The player's money is in the first place, and the player is in the penultimate place. We always put the player's money first." Obviously, very unhappy. This is on their Hearthstone events page. And it's just really unfortunate when a deal falls through, because I don't think you understand, unless you're a WoW player or you've played any sort of MMO, this would be like the game that you've played the most in your life. Your character is just deleted. I'm going to play with audio off. Asmongold's pretty good about allowing his clips to play on other channels. But basically, these were the final moments of the servers of WoW in China. It just unceremoniously shut down. Basically, everybody was there. They're like, all right, this is it. These are our last days in World of Warcraft. And then the servers just shut off. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do anything about this. Like, is there going to be some sort of resolution where those accounts can be logged back into, or are those characters just deleted? Imagine you spent the entirety of your time trying to, yeah, they have an old boot up screen. But anyway, imagine you spent that much of your life playing one IP like World of Warcraft, and then it's just sort of shut off like that. That would be pretty devastating to a lot of people. And CNBC was actually saying people are like crying and stuff because they lost these accounts. And there's also like the interpersonal connection that a lot of people make. Now, separately, you might know that Activision Blizzard is being sued, and they're going to have to pay the SEC $35 million. I don't remember which quote I was on. Video game developer Activision Blizzard agreed to pay a $35 million settlement over charges it failed to maintain adequate controls for assessing reports of workplace misconduct, reporting procedures, and that it violated federal whistleblower protection rules, the Securities and Exchange Commission said Friday. And let's just bring up this full story because there's a few more quotes that I wanted to pull out of it really quick. The SEC claimed workplace misconduct complaints were neither collected or analyzed. So they didn't even care. Even if you did put in a complaint, nobody looked at them. As expected by public disclosure regulations. Moreover, taking action to impede former employees from communicating directly with the commission staff about a possible securities law violation is not only bad corporate governance, it is illegal, SEC Director Jason Burt said. The SEC filing claimed Activision Blizzard required a significant number of departing employees who signed separation agreements to tell Activision Blizzard if regulators tried to contact them, or even if those employees wished to make a complaint of their own. Activision Blizzard's requirement that ex-employees notify the company violated federal whistleblower protections, the SEC claimed. So if you've been following that case at all, yeah, guess what? They were up to some really scummy stuff, and now they have to pay a whole lot of money, $35 million to the SEC. But does that, solve the problem within Activision? Have things been corrected there? Or is it going to take this Microsoft purchase and Microsoft going in and cleaning house to create a better work environment to make that change? Before I continue, I have a few other parts of this that I want to dive into, but if you could consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell. Half of you are not subscribed. And if you all hit subscribe today, as I like digging into these stories with you, I would hit my goal of hitting 100,000 subscribers today. And we're at about 98,000 right now. So thank you for watching, everybody. Let's continue on. I had another quote here pulled up, basically. This is about the strategy that the FTC is implementing with the Activision Microsoft merger and what an analyst had said. And we got an update about this quite recently. This is unmistakably an effort to reset merger policy and to set it back within boundaries that existed in the late 1960s and early 1970s. There's an important test in the courts in California right now involving the FTC's effort to block Meta's proposed acquisition of Within. This is also a vertical merger. And guess what? That case did not work out for the FTC, which spells out a few things for what we should expect for Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. If the FTC prevails in that case, that will embolden them to proceed on the path they have now, to be much tougher with Microsoft in negotiating a possible solution. If they lose, on the other hand, I think that creates an environment in which a settlement with concessions, Microsoft has suggested, becomes much more attractive. That wasn't from just anybody. That was from William Govasic, a former FTC chair, via CNBC. So that's spelling out a very interesting path to success for Microsoft's goal of acquiring Activision Blizzard. Now, the whole reason that I gave you all this context about the NetEase arguments with Activision and what happened there was because initially I thought that this would mean a much more negative relationship between China and Activision and Microsoft, who wants to acquire Activision. But it turns out it's actually quite the opposite based on recent reports. Chinese game developers said to give positive feedback on Activision Blizzard. And it does seem like China, based on what IDIS is saying over on Reset Era, is basically not going to have any issues with this Activision acquisition because Activision just isn't that big in China. Here's the quote from that article. China's reaction to the deal. The developers told China's State Administration for Market Regulation that they don't believe the mega deal would cause significant competition issues, according to traders who cited a Capital Forum report circulating on Wednesday. Activision market share in China is small. That was via Seeking Alpha. So even with all the negativity surrounding Activision, China seems to have no issue with Microsoft purchasing them. Now, selfishly, my hope would be that those accounts from China are somehow retained. I don't know how that would be possible. And those players are going to be able to access their games again once this deal with Microsoft goes through. Now, I don't think that the Microsoft deal has anything to do with the NetEase conversation falling apart. It actually seems to the contrary. If Microsoft had been there, I have to wonder if it would have been fine. Activision was arguing that it was some sort of IP issue where NetEase would have some sort of control over their IP, and NetEase denies that. So it's been a big back and forth between these two. NetEase is obviously losing a huge revenue stream and are very upset about the whole situation, especially as gamers themselves who are likely now having deleted characters and such. I just kind of wanted to tell you what was going on with Activision. I've had that story open for a long time. I didn't really know how to approach it, so I did my best sort of taking you through the different facets of it. We all know about the terrible working conditions at Activision, but I don't know if everybody knew about just how bad it got between NetEase and Activision, with NetEase going as far as live streaming them tearing down statues from, I believe it was a World of Warcraft axe or something like that. Let me know your reaction in the comments. And if you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching. Please consider hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell, especially because half of you are not subscribed. And if you subscribe today, I would hit my goal today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to the members. I updated the list today, made it a little more aligned. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. The member list grows. Thank you to everybody for, supporting me and doing this. If you want to become a member, click that join button. Any level you support at gets you all these videos ad free. So if you don't like them, that's one way you can get rid of them easy, or just support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Check out this video yesterday where we went over what PlayStation might have to give Xbox because of their comments within the FTC case. It's a very interesting story. I highly recommend you check it out because they might have to give them basically everything. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you for the next one, everybody. Bye for now.